Rahim with Errol Spence. 3 or 4 years ago, you would have been the betting on favorite for this fight. Do you feel like this is a more difficult fight now for you than it would have been then?
Definitely. It's definitely way more difficult. You know, a lot of stuff didn't occur during that time, so, you know, I can see why, you know, I'm probably not the betting favorite, but it's going to be definitely a difficult fight. That's why, you know, I'm going to have to be focused and I'm going to have to be on point, you know, throughout the whole fight.
It's been said that sometimes the opponent across the ring is not as difficult as the one internally. What do you have to overcome internally to bring the best Errol Spence to the ring on July 29th?
I feel like, you know, internally that's your toughest opponent throughout your whole life. That's going to be your toughest opponent ever. So with me, internally, I just got to stay focused. Just stay focused, stay 100% focused, and don't lose focus, because even in the later rounds, you know, you can get caught with a good shot just because you lose focus for a split second. So I feel like that's what makes the great fighters great, because they always focus and they always on point, and they never have, you know, empty lapses where they lost focus and then something happened.
You talk about this layoff being more rest and not having to be recovery, and then Crawford's resume not being as difficult as yours. Is there a disadvantage for you in the kind of fights you've been in, the toughest kind of opponents you've had, and the injuries, to now be facing a maybe fresher Terence Crawford?
Nah, not really. I mean, you know, I didn't, you know, been through a lot and still, you know, persevered. So, you know, I feel like it's just another story, and you know, they just add to, you know, might have a feature movie, you know, in place in the future, you know. So, you know, we'll see. But, you know, for me, it's just about just being focused, you know, keep being hungry, and keep training and listening to my coach, and just making sure that I'm on point 100%, so I can give, you know, the fans what they pay for and give everybody what they pay for, and, you know, show my greatness come July 29th.
I'd say the last time a lot of people doubted you might have been Mikey Garcia. And in this fight, obviously, you're the underdog. What do you intend to do on the 29th to prove those people wrong, and where have they made their mistake like they made it with Mikey Garcia?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's going to go back and forth just because, you know, I'm fighting another great fighter. So it has to go back and forth. And, you know, that's why this fight's so great, because, you know, one week they saying this, the next week they saying that. They see us at the press conference, now they changing it around. So it's always gonna change, because this how great this fight is, and this how even people think it is, that, you know, you get swings and different changes of how the fight's gonna play out. So I feel like that's why it's gonna be so great, because you don't know what's gonna happen.
Crawford says he's been visualizing this fight for years. When you visualize it, how does it play out?
It play out me just, you know, breaking them, you know, mentally, physically, damn near spiritually. It's just, you know, me just breaking his will. You know, hopefully, you know, I don't break his face too bad, and just, you know, come out with the victory.
Champ, what do you think is the biggest difference maker? Errol Spence, Terence Crawford's been saying that he made this fight happen. Who made the fight happen?
It definitely was me. You know, because, you know, I made concessions to make the fight happen, and you know, it was basically, you know, my decision that the fight was gonna happen, because, you know, basically, even we had the bet 5 years ago, you know, I gave them that and some, you know, to make this fight happen. So, and a lot of the people who on the business side of it didn't think that I was gonna make that concession, but I did, and you know, that was the deciding factor to make the fight happen.
So if it wasn't for you, the fight wouldn't have happened?
Definitely, but we're here now, and I feel like, yeah, it wasn't for me to make the fight happen, but it was definitely a group effort, us getting on FaceTime, you know, us talking it out, and basically putting our pride down and dropping our egos, and you know, just making this fight happen for the fans. And we made this fight happen for the fans. You know, the fans gotta, you know, show why there is a reward in taking risks and, the best fighting the best and, getting back to everybody fighting each other and make great fight happen. So,
Final question from over here was about 42 years ago that Sugar Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns fought in one of the greatest welterweight fights of all time, maybe the greatest one. Is this going to be a classic just like that?
I think it's going to be classic. I think, he's definitely coming to fight. I'm coming to fight. If you know his mentality and you see him fight, he put on great performances. He has no nonsense mentality. He always fighting back. If you push, he going to push harder. So I think that's a recipe for a great fight. And, you can't get nothing less but a great fight.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Champ.
Hey, Errol. Fans say that this fight might have took too long to happen, but I figured the other way. Do you feel the same thing, that this is actually the perfect time for this fight to take place as opposed to being too long?
It's definitely the perfect time because if this fight would have happened 5 years ago, what we would have fought for. People glamour over the title so much, so I would have fought for the WBO. I had the IBF, he had the WBO. I feel like it's just been, two good fighters fight each other, but I wouldn't have fought Sean Porter, I wouldn't have fought Danny Garcia, none of the other guys, and he wouldn't have fought the guys that he fought, so it's been nothing to compare each other to. And it's just been, two guys fighting each other. But now, we fighting for all the marbles. We're in our prime, he's more experienced, I'm more experienced now. And, it's just a recipe for a great fight.
A lot's been made of negotiations. What was the split you guys decided?
I don't know. If that ain't in the news yet, I'm not the person to tell you, brother.
Champ, what do you think will be the biggest difference maker in this fight? Is it your jab, your defense, your ring IQ? What separates you?
I feel like it's gonna be a multitude of everything. It's gonna be, ingredients of everything in. It's gonna be the jab. It's gonna be ring IQ. It's gonna be fundamentals. It's gonna be who can stay focused. It's gonna be award nutrition. It's gonna be everything coming together. And I feel like the best fighter is gonna win. Whoever can just stay focused and who can endure and who's gonna be, ready to put it all on the line when they have to.
Champ, you haven't fought in over a year. Do you think the ring layup will play a factor in this fight?
Man, I don't think so. I've been through worse and haven't fought, just like the car crash and the eye injury and, other stuff that was going on, personally. So, I just feel like it just makes for a better story. So,
Crawford.
You mentioned the sanctioning fees for the belt. I don't know if you're aware, but you'll be fighting for the Vacant Ring Magazine Welterweight Championship. What are your thoughts on that? And who is your favorite all time? I don't think
the Ring Magazine takes sanctioning fees.
No, they don't.
Yeah, so that's cool. But
my thoughts on winning it.
Oh yeah, that's dope. That's a prestigious belt. You see all the greats wear the Ring Magazine belt, all the guys that I looked up to and all the guys that, I watched as a kid. So to get that belt, that would mean everything for me just to be, with the same guys who had that belt. So, that'd be great.
Who's your favorite 147-pounder of all time?
I don't really have. Well, Terry Norris was my favorite, but he was 154. So I like Mike McCullum. I like Donald Curry. Yeah, I like Donald Curry. No, I guess if I say Ray, I'd probably say Ray Leonard.
What fight have you had in the what?
There's a two-way rematch clause. The rematch clause is at 154.
I don't know, man. You sure do ask a lot on the business side.
Spence, you think you
What's a past fight that you've had that prepares you best for Crawford?
You said what?
What past fight have you had that prepares you the best for Crawford?
I would say, basically, all of them, because I feel like, he can box just like Kell Brook. He can bang, he can bang like Sean Porter can bang. He can fight. He has power. He has speed. So for me, I feel like all the fights, gave me the experience that I need to come out with this victory because, it's going to be tough. It's going to be grueling, and I think it's going to lead to just, war nutrition, just lead to, who wants it more rather than, the talent, the skills, and the ability.
Lastly, he says he's been here before, but you're the pay-per-view fighter who's been on this stage many more times than him, have been a draw more times than him. What does that give you in the fight that maybe he hasn't seen before, or is it ready to expect?
I don't think, yeah, he been here before, but he hasn't been with, the top caliber, opponents that I've been with, at that stage of their career. Like the guys I fought, they was world champions when I beat them. The guys he fought, they was kind of, Kell Brook was a shell of himself. He had 3 fights at 154 before they sucked him down to 147 pounds, and he was having trouble making weight, way before he fought him. So, I mean, you can give him credit for that if you want to, at Kell Brook, or for Sean Porter, who, if you looked at, I think he fought Sebastian before me. You looked at that fight, Sean Porter versus Sebastian. That was not an impressive fight at all in Sean Porter's show, and he looked bad. So, but he just had the skills and the talent.
Of the great fighters of the 80s.
Brian Sabello and stuff. You've been seen to be trained with like Brian Sabello and young hungry lions like that. How do you feel that's upping your game for a fight going against Terence Crawford?
Oh, it's great, man. You gotta have young guys who super hungry and coming to fight. Cause with the young guys, they don't spar like sparring partners. They're hungry. They're ambitious too. They want to be world champions. So they're gonna show you something different, and you hit them, they're gonna hit you back. They're gonna bring a younger aspect to it, to where they got something to prove.
With everything that happened over the past few years, given the accident, your eye surgery and stuff like that, how do you feel this type of Spence is currently now as a fighter versus your previous, before the accident, before that surgery?
I feel great. Of course, I'm not gonna be the same Errol Spence, but I feel good. I feel great. My ability's been good. Showing great wins. After my car crash, after my eye injury, so we're going to keep adding to it and keep adding to the story and, coming out victorious every time.
Of the great welterweights in the 80s, who do you see most in yourself?
Errol, what made you want to call up the sanctioning bodies today as opposed to during fight week when maybe media presence would be a little bit more?
People got to be held accountable, where stuff coming from, where stuff going, and, if the boxers get held accountable for stuff, other people should be held accountable too, and just knowing where is everything going to and what's it for, and you doing this, you doing that, but, you saying it, but how do we know? So I feel like it should be, different stuff for athletes. There's no, retirement for athletes. It's basically no great insurance for athletes, and, they out here risking their lives and, losing brain cells and, basically doing something that's not really natural, getting hit in the head, and, it's nothing to benefit them. It's just like the guy, what's the guy name in Florida?
Pritchard Cologne.
Yeah, just like Pritchard Cologne, who's taking care of him? Who, is he getting help from boxing, or is he getting help from, these other sanctioned bodies and things like that? You hear about all these Hall of Fame fighters, and 99% of these guys, the guys we look up to, the guys we talk about, they're broke. And, they got to take accountability. They ain't do right with their money, but you giving a 20-something-year-old guy all this money, what you think you're going to do with it, especially when they don't have people telling them or have people, showing them and giving them classes about, how they should be, handling their money, controlling their money. You give a 23, 24-year-old guy money who ain't never been to college, never had nothing. You give him all this money, what you think, he gonna do with it? I was almost, that tragic story, having my, buying Ferraris, and, that was just the tip of the iceberg, because, I was gonna buy other stuff, you know. So, you know, that was like a blessing. That was like a blessing in disguise that, you know, that happened, because that really sat me down and made me think about, man, I'm not indestructible, and this life can end in a second, you know, and boxing could be over with. You know, I need to think about the future and not about right now. So I think that's where a lot of fighters need to think about. We need to have classes where these, you know, promoters and managers make these boxers go to. So, you know, at least you can say, you know, you try to tell them or you try to get them in there. You know, not everybody gonna listen, but we need fighters, you know, like Andre Ward and fighters like Floyd, just to, you know, tell these fighters and show these fighters that, you know, and just tell them, man, y'all gotta do more with y'all money. Y'all can't just be buying all this crazy stuff, because all this material stuff is gonna go, and you got family, and if you can't live how you live while you was boxing, then, you know, you're not doing something right. You should be thinking, hey man, I'm trying to after I box, I still gotta live 40, 50 more years, God willing. So what you gonna do? Get a job? You know, you making millions of dollars right now. You can be using that to, you know, invest in different things. So for me, I just want to, you know, tell everybody just to be, especially boxers, just to be conscious of that. Just be conscious of the money you make, because it's a blessing right now, but that's why you got guys 40 years old, 45 years old, 50-something years old, you know, still fighting today and, you know, trying to make $1, because, you know, they don't have the means now. They're not making the money they was making when they was 20, 30 years old.
Thank you, guys. We got to wrap it up. We got to go.
Thank you.